Hello and welcome to turn 16 of the mission Early Christianity from the Crucifixion to the Crusades by White Dot Games and Ben Madison. Apologies about the slightly strange lighting. The sun's come out, which isn't very often in sunny old England, so yeah, we've got a little bit of a mottled effect. Hopefully it won't affect the view too much, but I've got rid of as much of it as I can. So just one thing to start off with, the designer Ben Madison has got in contact. I should be so highly honoured, and pointed out a few mistakes which I'm going to try and actually retrofit now. So the first thing was the Manichaeans, which I just got rid of in Alodia earlier on. I couldn't have because it wasn't Roman territory. So that Manichaean marker should still be there, and also that shouldn't be converted. So that should still be as is. Now this has a knock-on effect for Nubia. When we just last turn in turn 15, when Nubia was created, we had to roll for these three areas. We only have two of them now, so we do need to do the roll to see if it actually appears. We need a 1, 2, 3 or a 4, and we got a 1, so it does appear, but Nubia is actually here now. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing is in turn 4, I actually counted my solidus correctly, but I actually added 1 when I put on the track, so let's take that solidus down to 0. Also here in Spain earlier, there was an apostasy, so I left. I put a Bible on to protect this area from apostasy, but Bibles don't protect against heresies. So in fact, the apostasy should have happened. So that should actually be not Christian anymore. And that's about it. Oh, finally, just a couple of things here I've done from last turn. I put these down as a knight. It should be pray for peace. Not really, that doesn't really make any difference, but it's outside the Roman Empire again. And I think that's all we need to do now. So let's crack on with the turn. So the history phase, it's a very boring turn. Nothing much happens from the history phase. We can move the Roman army though. And should we? Well, we've got some protection here. I'm not sure we should necessarily move it. I'd like to push back if the Bulgars move to here. Yeah, I think that's possibly the most valuable area. We can't do anything up in Europe because that's not Roman Empire, so we'll keep it as it is. That'll end our history phase, so let's go on to the secular phase, and we will pull out our wafer. And we have a 5. Okay, that's 5 solidus for that. And we also have our 4 tracks. I think they're still, yeah, it's just the schisms which are preventing. So we're up to 9. But we do have a dot, and the dot does mean that we have a heretical emperor, which means we're going to struggle with some of the bishops, etc. Although most of them are out on the periphery anyway, so maybe it won't have that much of an effect. And when we turn over, what have we got? We have a heresy. Always welcome. And we have the Sabellian heresy, which is a 4. Where's that going? Oh, track 2 and number 1. That's very close. Track 2 is B, so it's actually here. Oh, okay, I'm not happy about that. Right, thanks for that. And then we've got some movement of the hordes. So we have B2. Here we go with the Bulgars. So the Bulgars will move to there for 1, and they will attempt to move here for 2. And we have to prevent it. So we need more than a 3 to prevent it. And we don't. So this will push back the Roman army. Christian Rome, that enters there. So we've got something for the army to do. and we've got D1. So D is our track here, and they will move. Oh, we'll try and move on to the tyrant. The tyrant will actually try and protect himself. So this is an opposed one. So again, we need a 4, 5, and 6 to stop the Turks, and we don't. So that tyrant is actually removed. It's actually sort of good, but the Turks move in, and they are pagan. So again, not great. And finally, we have an F1, and F is the Vandals again. So the Vandals are going to try and get into Christian Rome. We need a 5 or a 6 to prevent them. And no again. So Vandals move on. Christian Rome border moves back. And that's our move for the hordes. And that's the wafer done. And now we get onto our religious phase and try and repair some of the damage. One thing that really bothers me is the Sabellian heresy, so I'm going to move this archbishop back here, and we're going to try and do something about this, because that's a valuable space, and that's a 3 space which I can easily do something with. I'd like to chuck the Bulgars back if I can, maybe the Aryans as well, and something to do up here if we can. Now luckily enough we didn't get any movement by the Khazars or the Saxons. We'll have to let those lie for the moment because we've got bigger fish to fry. We have a problem here as well to deal with. Let's look what we need to do with our Bibles, shall we? Because I think we'll need to cover places with the Bible. Let's see how we get on by pushing back some of these guys. We won't be able to push him back, but certainly the Bulgars we will, and maybe the Vandals. Let's get the Roman army on the move here into the Danube Valley. So they need a 5 or a 6 to stop us, and they don't, so that pushes the Bulgars back. I think we'll stay there. I don't think we can go any further. If we go somewhere further, we might get isolated from the Roman Empire. So we could continue again, actually, because the border moves up, but it'll never get past the Danube Valley. Let's try again, shall we? So they need to defend against the Roman army. They need a 5 or a 6. They don't get it. So the Bulgars are back where they started, and the Roman army moves up. Let's sort out the Sabellian heresy here anyway. So we've got a 4. We need a 4, but we've got +1 for the bishop. And we get it. So that's dealt with that. So we want Melkites. They give us a pip on the dice to try and resolve the schisms. We pick a schism and try and resolve it. So we should dedicate some money to getting some Melkites here. I think the Syriac Bible really has to go here. We may have to put the Latin Bible there again. We may have to put the Armenian Bible here again. We could try and get rid of these Manichaeans that have popped back. We have the Archbishop to do that. What I'd like to get is some hospitals as well. But a full cost hospital that's a lot of money. And so we should really put them where we can afford them. I'd rather not have a hospital there that takes up our entire money turn. These physicians here have got a hospital discount underneath them. I'd really like to get rid of this. One thing I did do a couple of times is I moved a bishop backwards, which you can't do, they have to move forwards. I think what I'll do is I'll move that bishop there, and I will then spend a solidus after he's turned into an archbishop to move back to here. And let's have a go at these Manichaeans, I think. Yeah, let's try. So it's a +1. We need a 6, so it's not a great roll, but I think I'd like to really get them out of the way. And we get it. Well done, well done, well done, well done. So that Manichaeans are good. So I'd like to convert these now and then place the hospital. So let's do a conversion. Seems like we're putting lots of eggs in one basket here, but I think this is valuable to stand up to the Saxons, I think. in Britain. So we need 3 or more, but we have a +1. That'll do. We get the physicians. We have the hospital counter. Oops, I'm knocking everything everywhere here. So we could get the hospital counter for 3. That'll leave us with nothing though. Hospital, or do we need to do something about the Aryans? Well, to be honest, with the exception of this is a very, very poor track. So maybe I don't. Yeah, okay, let's stick with what we were going to do. And we now put a hospital up in Britain. And that should help us against the Saxons. And that's all our solidus. Do we need to do anything more with some Bibles here? We don't need the Coptic to do anything particular. Actually, what we could use the Bible for is to try and deal with those Manichaeans. Well, why not? We get a free shot at that. Right. Oh, look at that. Well, we are being lucky this turn. Got rid of both Manichaeans. That's great. That's used. And we got the Greek Bible, which we could have used here, but we made sure of it with the Archbishop. Probably should have used it first, but there you go. That's all we can really do now. So on apostasy, we're okay here. We are okay here. And we are okay here. But we are not. These are tolerant. They've got the bezants of the 3 dots, so they don't cause an apostasy to happen there. I think that's it. So that's our turn 16, which is not as momentous as could have been, but we did get rid of both Manichaean heresies, and that's a big thing in the game actually. That's really very useful, and we'll get to convert these guys as well. It's still progress. We're still fighting there, still hanging in there. So next turn will be on the next video. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Until then, bye for now.